We back, bringing you the auto guide for Tyrant Sword. Now, Sword is back, Alpha Tricks is up, though we're not going to be utilizing them that much. Sadly, they are more for utility, and we need damage for this boss. Also, we have 90% minus 90% healing, though this boss normally doesn't run a healer, so that's pretty fine. Now I have a free-to-play low-budget team as well as a geared auto team. Both runs are on 1x speed, so we can squeeze out as much damage as we can. Let's go ahead and check them out. Alright, so the free-to-play budget team, whatever you want to call it, we're going to start off with Choi Ina just so we can sit there and gain some more DP. So that we can cycle better, because unfortunately our units are gonna die. There's not really a total, ton that we can have for protection here, and with the minus 90% healing, we can't really use Chinasu to sit there and save our team from the slaughter that's about to happen. But fortunately, we can use Ahilde and her wonderful reactor to sit there and give us some shields to sit there and start off with, plus a permanent shield that stays on until it actually gets knocked off of her. And then because Ahilde's ulti will sit there and make her use her specials, she'll have shields that will make her last for a pretty long time actually. Now, like I said, we are going to be sitting here losing some units, and of course we have shieldmen here that are going to sit there and keep the boss pointed in an opposite direction, so we only have to really deal with the sword pulls for the time being. Now, unfortunately, we have to sit here and deal with this ulti, but because Ahilde just got resummoned, we have a nice shield to protect everybody. Now it's just a race against the clock here. Unfortunately, everybody's going to get pulled and Shaolin dies, but we have Kim coming up. She's got her ulti primed and ready, and she's just gonna let the boss have it. Of course, by have it I mean shooter pea shooter at the boss, but it was a valid attempt. Valid attempt. Now, of course, the real star of the show is the wardens, because they can't get pulled. They stay at a nice safe distance, and they spawn their own shield on themselves the entire fight, so they do a pretty good job of keeping themselves alive. Alright, so gear for this team. The Choi Ina, I am just running her EE. It is T7, doesn't need to be T7. Doesn't even need to be the EE for the most part. A speed probably do just as good, though the EE at max gives more attack speed than the set does. Wardens, I have it on broken set, but as much anti-striker, anti-ground, and that's basically going to be repeated throughout the rest of these DPS, as you'll notice. Of course, Rivet does have the bonus anti-CO, which this boss is a CO. Now, granted, build I'm running on CDR so that she spams her shields. She does have the alternating reactor, which is helpful in this fight, but not necessarily needed. Boreas is on her free-to-play set. Same thing for Zhao. Kim Cho, since she's up, we're going to be using her as well with the anti-striker, anti-ground. Rare unit, so she's not hard to obtain. Shieldman's just for that little reprieve we need so that we can get Ahilde back out. Chip is going to be Enterprise, and Kim Hana, just level 1 without a side skill, works just as well. The mods I'm using for this run, I'm just going with minus 10% attack, minus 50% HP, minus 40% A speed, minus 40% skill haste. We don't touch the enemy HP. We raise the attack on the boss by, well, the mobs and the boss by 15%, and then we take the minus 30% DP. Alright, so for this team, we're going to be starting off with Sigma. She kind of gives us some DP, plus she gives us another tank later on during the fight, and on top of that, the roll advantage is really helpful for the Courian. The Courian just absolutely annihilates those ads. It's a beautiful thing. Then we have our tank Tyrant coming up. He does a good job taking a few hits. Unfortunately, we lose those Wardens, but those Wardens aren't geared anyways, so it's not really that much of a loss. Plus, we'll get a couple later on when Courian sits there and uses his ulti. Now, I'm using Skye as my supporter for the Kim Hana proc. Skye gives us some resistance to the rest of our team, plus she sits there and cuts the evasion on the boss in half, which kind of works out well with Enterprise's S1. It kind of rotates it, so a lot of our units will end up getting surefire. You know, that's helpful, though it's not really needed. She could probably be replaced with almost anything else, but it is what it is. Now, fortunately for us, we got big damage on that ulti. If it doesn't crit, then this run might go a little longer, or you can restart and go for the crit on that. But like I said, Courian just outputs a lot of damage on this fight. And when I say a lot of damage, I mean a whole juicy 2 million damage. Like, Jesus. Alright, so for this team, I'm running full CDR Sigma. Sigma may end up dying, but it actually sits there and works out for timings for our front line. But we want the full 76 CDR if we can afford it. The roll advantage also that she brings is helpful for the Courian, who I'm running full damage on. Just outright full damage. Just nothing else but damage. Because this man just pumps out damage. How many times can I say damage? Now, Tarask actually works as a pretty good mini frontline when your front lines happen to die. So I put it on full tank gear here. Now, granted, Tarask isn't going to do much damage anyways, taking a minus 30% damage loss just because of type advantage. So might as well just run it on tank just for the 20% death break. Alex I have on full tank. Well, more than 50% crit res. That's just because it's latent on my weapon. We're running the EE, so we have a juicy amount of A speed. And then just whatever ground res I can sit there and put on her. Melee res is probably actually can be better. Range, just because since there's air units, the ground res doesn't actually help you against the ads if they're not getting burnt down fast enough. Skye I have on attack speed with skill haste subs. And I do have this little cute anti-ground res that I got, so it's helpful for that. Agnes I actually have on a more tanky build because I want her to get her 3 attacks off before she inevitably gets yoinked and killed. But I want her to last as long as possible. Wardens I just have on A speed anti-striker. They come out, they get some attacks in, they might get the special off of Courian. It's nice, but they're just there for a little burst damage and to help cycle the deck faster. And then of course we have Dorothy just for her buff, boost up Courian right before he ulties. But just in case she does live long enough, I got her on A speed, and hopefully she can get her proc up before she dies. For the ship, I'm running Enterprise. For the operator, Kim Hana with attack speed. The latents on Enterprise, I do not believe are actually any good for the most part for this. But, so yeah, see, we got soldier hit. That's nice. Little evasion for our tank. But other than that, this is more of a ranger built ship. So, doesn't really help here. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this helps you get the minimum score needed for rewards this season. For those that want to push their scores higher, I will be working on a manual guide next, so look forward to that. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're feeling extra special, you can also join the Mage army by clicking the join button. You can catch me on Discord, link will be in the description, and if you want to help support this channel, you can find a link for that in the description as well. As always, I will see you all next time.